What's going on, MMA fans? I'm back to do my UFC 100 predictions taking place July 11th from Las Vegas. Should be a good night of fights. It is a milestone in MMA as far as 100 events for an MMA promotion, so make sure you check it out. Going to work my way from the bottom of the main card way to the top like I normally do. First fight of the night, Yoshihiro Akiyama taking on Alan Belcher. Akiyama training out of Team Cloud. Judo black belt, excellent grappler. If he gets top position, he can finish the fight and will finish the fight. He's got decent hands. He knocked out Dennis Kang, submitted Melvin Manhoff, has beaten Masaki, beaten Shibata. Unfortunately had the controversial fight with Kazushi Sakuraba with the greasing incident, which really put him at odds with the Japanese fan base, which is why he's now in America trying to make a name for himself. Taking on a dangerous opponent, Alan Belcher trains out of Remix MMA, purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, good clinch, good Muay Thai, decent takedown defense. Tough fight to call. I've gone back and forth on this fight. Akiyama, if he gets this fight down to the ground or gets this fight in the clinch and is able to get takedowns, either trips or sweeps, and gets in a dominant position and gets a submission, either 80-20 or 90-10, he finishes the fight percentage-wise. But I think that I think there'll be some jitters on his part. I think he might not be as well adapted to the cage yet, and the space that you have compared to the ring, which does play a part in fights. I think that Belcher will have a good game plan. He'll come in probably using good jabs, good leg kicks to use distance, and if he has to get into the pocket, move in and out effectively. It'll be an interesting chess match to see what happens. I think Belcher will take this, though. I'm going to say he takes it by unanimous decision. All right, next fight, Dan Henderson taking on Michael Bisping, of course, the tough coaches. Dan Henderson training out of Team Quest. Dan Henderson, excellent clinch, very good Greco background. Has a powerful right hand. He's got many highlight reel knockouts. Rio Shonen come to mind. Vanderlei Silva, both of those were nasty. His cardio is good, and he's looked pretty good in his last couple fights. He looked decent in the fight against Paul Harris, and he looked pretty good against Rich Franklin. So. He's taking on Michael Bisping, who's training out of the Wolf Slayer Academy. Michael Bisping, talented striker, underrated grappler on the ground. People don't give him enough credit there. He's got decent takedown defense, improved wrestling, good cardio. In this fight, I think that Bisping hasn't fought anyone with the caliber of Greco and even wrestling that Henderson has. I think that that's going to play into the fight. I think Henderson, can last on the feet. And I think he can land some big shots, but I think when he puts it in the clinch, Bisping is going to be really overwhelmed and surprised by what Henderson has to offer there. I think Henderson's going to use dirty boxing, is going to really, wear down Bisping, and I think that's going to play late in the second, early third, and I think Henderson's going to get a stoppage. So I'm going to say Dan Henderson, third round TKO. All right, next fight, John Fitch taking on Paulo Thiago. John Fitch training out of AKA, the American Kickboxing Academy, guerrilla jiu-jitsu black belt, very good clinch. That's where he loves to get his takedowns from. He's got decent boxing, and it's been improving ever since he started in the UFC. He's got really good cardio, and he's got a tremendous amount of heart. He's taking on Paulo Thiago, who's training on the Constrictor team. He's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, has an excellent top game. If he gets on top of you, he is dangerous. Loves to go for arm triangles, kimuras, arm bars if he can get them. And he's an unorthodox striker as far as with his hands, but it does have some effectiveness. In this fight, I think that Fitch, as long as he doesn't make a mistake, I think that if he puts this fight in the clinch, and if he decides to take it down, as long as he doesn't make a mistake, I think he can, stay out of Thiago's submissions. I think that he can control position, even on the feet. I think he can move in and out of the pocket. Avoid any of the looping, shots that Thiago has, and I think that Fitch is going to take this by a decision. So that's my pick, John Fitch, unanimous decision. All right, next fight, co-main event, George St. Pierre taking on Thiago Alves. George St. Pierre training out of Jackson's in the TriStar Gym. He's a black belt Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Kyokushin karate black belt. The best wrestler in MMA right now. Has really improved on his stand-up and has gotten better with mixing up his strikes. His cardio is good, and his top game is excellent. If he gets on top of you, he's almost impossible to shrug off. He's taking on Thiago Alves, who trains out of ATT. Thiago Alves, a purple belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He's a very, very good striker, a phenomenal striker, excellent Muay Thai. Has improved on his takedown defense, and his cardio is decent. He's got the 3 big wins over Matt Hughes, Josh Koscheck, and Karo Parisian. And Karo Parisian only been stopped one other time before Alves stopped him, so that was impressive. In this fight, I think St. Pierre, on the feet, I think he may have some trouble, and don't be surprised if Alves rocks him, hurts him, or even finishes the fight. But I think St. Pierre is going to come in with a good game plan. I think he's going to, push Alves up against the cage. I think he's going to, try to wear him down. I think he'll be able to take him down. Maybe not every single time, but I think he'll have, a decent amount of takedowns in every round, which will solidify the rounds for him. I think it's really going to wear down Alves later on in the fight, late third, early fourth, and I think that's going to play into GSP's game plan. I think GSP's going to catch Alves on the ground and finish him with a 4th round TKO, so that's my pick. All right, main event, Brock Lesnar taking on Frank Mir for the heavyweight championship to unify the interim and the UFC heavyweight championship. Brock Lesnar, training out of the Minnesota Martial Arts Academy, Division I wrestler and a national champ, has power in his hands, but he has the unorthodox striking and still is working on it. Subpar submission defense. He got caught by Mir, and I think he's still learning in those areas of the MMA game. But his cardio is good as well. He's taking on Frank Mir, who is training out of LVCC, the Las Vegas Combat Club, and Striking Unlimited. He's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. Has improved on his stand-up with his hands, improved on his cardio, improved on his wrestling and his takedown defense. And of course, he's the first guy to stop Nogueira, so that's also a fun fact. But nonetheless, in this fight, I think it's going to be similar to the first fight. I think Lesnar, in the first and second rounds, I think is going to be able to get Mir down consistently. As the rounds start, I think Mir will be able to get some shots in, pick his shots, throw some leg kicks, land some combinations, but I think Lesnar will end up getting him down. The key to this fight is who's the first person to make a mistake, and Lesnar has shown some deficiencies in his game and has made some mistakes in his fights, even against Randy, even against Herring. And I think those mistakes against someone as high level as Mir in grappling, I think Mir will take advantage of that. I think it'll happen probably late second, early third, if not the 4th round. I think Mir is going to catch Lesnar, whether it's a leg lock, whether he's able to get an arm bar off on as big as Lesnar's arms are, who knows? But I think Mir will catch Lesnar in a submission. I'm going to say late third, so I'm going to say Frank Mir 3rd round submission. So those are my picks for UFC 100. Make sure you leave some comments, constructive, negative, positive, as always. Make sure you check out my sponsors on the description side. I'll be back the night of or the night after to do my review. And on that note, you guys, have a great day.